Okay, so as I said, this is the login page for the administrator. And if you do have admin rights, you can log into this page. If you do not have admin rights, you'll probably receive an error. Logging in through this page, any user can log into this page, including administrators. And whenever you log in, since administrators can also be in the system as a learner, not sure why this isn't updating. Anyway.
Yeah, the only one was the personal protective equipment. I haven't gone back in the last day or so, but that was the only one that was really in there for me personally. So.
Okay. So whenever you log in as a learner, there are a few different sections that will be on this page, assuming there is training that's available to enroll. If you're logging in for the first time and no training has been assigned, then the catalog row is probably going to be the first row that you'll see whenever you first log in. And all of the training in the catalog is training that is available for self-enrollment. And you'll see that each one of these courses, they start with PGE. And if I enroll into this course, and the button has changed to start. So I'll be able to start this training and, but going back to the dashboard page, which is also the welcome page, you'll see that this course is moved to My Courses. And My Courses is going to be training that has been assigned to me or that I have enrolled in. So we also have Resume Courses. Resume Courses is going to be training that we have started but not completed. So whenever you log in, you should see at least the catalog page, and it should have the PGE courses listed for you that are available for self-enrollment. If I click on, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just tracking with you.
Okay. And if I click on any one of these titles, so like catalog, resume, or My Courses, it's going to take me to another page, and the catalog is going to show all the courses that are available for self-enrollment. And I do have the ability to filter these courses out or search these courses. So if I click the filter on the left, I can search for a course name. So if I want to search for safety, all of the courses that have safety in the title are going to show up. Now there is another search tool that is at the top. And so if I search for, say I search for tools, then the search results page will come up. Then any course that has tools in the title is going to show up. And this is a list view. I can change this to a thumbnail view or a detailed list view. And again, I can enroll. And if you click on enroll, then start, it will take you to the course details page. You click start and it will open that course. And this is blocking a pop-up. So the first time that you open a course, you want to make sure that you are allowing pop-ups.
So does it matter what browser we're using?
It does not matter, just as long as you have the most recent version enabled. Our courses run on what's called HTML5. And so they do require the most up-to-date browsers to run effectively. And that would be Internet Explorer 11, Internet Explorer Edge, and Chrome and Firefox and Safari. And so going back to the dashboard, this is where the courses will be listed. And you also have the ability to manage your information. For example, if you receive any system email messages, they'll appear in this mailbox, and you'll also have a little icon that will identify that you have messages that are unread. This is the user profile. So if we go to the user profile, this will allow us to edit our profile. And so there's certain information that we can enter ourselves. But things such as username or first name, last name, those are locked down in the system. And a user would have to go to an administrator to edit that information. The user can also change their password if they want. They just have to enter their current password and then the new password twice. And this hamburger menu on the right is going to display the same options that you had on the main page of the dashboard. So you have My Courses, Catalog, and again, My Courses are courses that you've been enrolled into, and Catalog is going to be courses that are available for self-enrollment. Calendar is going to display any training that has a due date associated with it. It's also going to display any instructor-led training. Since instructor-led training will occur on specific dates, that will appear on the calendar. Transcript is going to show any courses that have been assigned and also the statuses. And the user has the ability to print their transcript as well. So if we go to admin, this is where you'll find the admin area. It's going to be in the navigation on the right. So if you log into the user page, you'll use the admin link to get to the admin area. If you're not an administrator, then you will not see that link. So there are basically two options for getting to the admin area. Yes.
I'm sorry, and where is going to be the link for the admin exactly?
It's going to be in this right menu where it says admin. It's at the bottom. So if I click on that link, it'll take me to admin, and I can also bookmark. If I bookmark the admin link, then this will take me directly to the admin area. And to get back to the learner side, there's two options to get to the learner side. I can click this button that says learner side, or from this right navigation, I can click learner side. And your logo has updated. I'm not sure why it wasn't showing before. But your logo is displayed on the site. So are there any questions about the learner features before I get into the admin area? Okay, so whenever you first log into the admin area, you'll see there are 3 dashboards, and we have an overview dashboard, a learner's dashboard, and a courses dashboard. And so the overview is going to have your information. It's going to have activity, any reports that you've generated, your saved reports, and any messages in the system. The learner's dashboard will display the learners that you have in the system. It will display the top 5 learners and total learners time in the last 7 days, 10 most recent completions. And courses are going to show the top courses completed, new courses created, and top courses by time spent. So right now, this area cannot be edited. All of these dashboards are built into the system, There is a possibility that sometime later in the year, we will have the ability to edit the dashboard. So if there's any news about that, I'll certainly let you know. So going over to, I'm sorry, do you have a question? Okay, so there are a few different areas that we can manage. For example, courses, users, and reports. These are going to be your main areas within the admin area. So if we click on courses, all of our courses are going to be listed in this area. And so you have 625 courses, and I do want to cover the layouts of these pages. So for example, the courses page has a layout where you can add columns to this layout. And the user page has pretty much the same layout where you can add columns to this as well. And the same with the reporting, all the different reporting layouts that we have. So all of these are structured pretty much the same way. So once you familiarize yourself with the way these reports work, and essentially these are each reports. Like this would be a user report, this would be a courses report. You can set these up all the same way. So for example, if I go back to the courses report, if I have a certain layout, so whenever you come to this page, this is the layout that you're going to see. And so if I add a column, let's say I want to see the date this was added. I want to see if I want to see the credits associated. And once I get a layout that I like, I can go to my saved layouts and click create new, and then you can name this layout and click create new. And then if you come back to the saved layouts, if you click the star next to the layout name, then anytime you come back to this page, it's going to be the same layout. So you also have the option of defining how many courses are going to be displayed on this page. So if I want to see all the courses, I can change this to 1,000. And then all the courses will be displayed on this page. And again, if I want to save a change, all I have to do is come and click the save layout, and then it will save those settings for this page. Any questions?
So and you may have, I just may have missed this. So if I want to profile, if I want to assign some of these classes to individuals, did you get to that yet?
No, not
Okay.
not yet. I haven't gotten to that.
Yeah, I'll wait.
So if you, yes.
I have a question as back to the reports. So let's say I will create my own 3 layouts, which I like. And how, if I want to share it with someone, let's say with Steve, how would I do it? Can I transfer it into something and send it to him, or can he see my reports? Or
Sure, yeah, let me answer that. So once you save a report, we have the ability to share the report. So if we click share and then click on, it's going to ask us to select a group. So you can't share this with individuals, but you can share it with groups. So for example, if we create a group, I'm going to skip ahead and go to the courses page and the users page. And this is going to show all the users that are in the system. And I'm going to make a modification to this page. So let's say I want to say is admin. So if I want to see who the administrators are in the system, I'll click is admin. And then we have these little icons to the right of each column. And this is going to add a filter for that column. So over is admin, if I click the filter and I say is admin yes, then it's going to show the admins for this site. So I can select all these users, or I can select a certain number of users, and then I can come over here and I can click create group. And this is going to create a group with these three users. And I'm going to call this PGE admins and save. And so now I have a group created with all of the PGE admins. Now, if you do create a group, it's very important that you have some identifier so you can set this apart. There are many departments within Absorb. And so if every department added a group and each group was called admins, you wouldn't know how to set this apart. So there are different names for the admin groups. But I ask you, if you're going to create a group, please add PGE to the name so you will not get lost within any of the other groups. Your users are going to be private.
Dana,
yes.
again.
Yes.
That's it. Maybe I missed it. So when, okay, let's say that I create two groups, one for admin, one for, but you said something and I probably missed it. How do I go, I will see all the groups in the system?
Yes, unfortunately the system is, it will show you all the groups in the system, but you cannot see any of the users in any of the other groups.
Oh, so I can see absolutely user groups from different companies.
Yes, but you cannot see the users in those groups.
Show me please one more time. How did you go to the groups? Quickly, can you show it to me?
Sure, the groups is on the user tab and you click on groups. And this will list the groups. And so you can only view the users that are in your group.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So going back to how you would share that, you can only share this with groups. So this information is populating. So if I click on share and then select groups and then type in PGE, admins, and save, now this report is shared with everyone within the PGE admin group.
So they have to log on and see Steve and Michael.
Right. Whenever they come to this page, they'll go to the Save Layout page, and that report will be listed in the layout list.
Oh, okay.
And you can also schedule this report to be emailed to you. So you can select the frequency, for example, monthly. And you probably wouldn't want this report for the course list, but you can set this for any report, like a user report, any of the training reports. But you select the frequency, and if you want this emailed to a group, again, you can select your admin group, and this will be emailed to all the users within the PGE admin group on a monthly basis at the first of the month.
Either Excel or CSV file, correct? I look at the format. So Excel, yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right.
You also have the ability to print the report, and you can also export to Excel or CSV. So the NERC courses, I do want to point this out. This is going to be very important. You do have access to the...
I'm sorry, before we move on, I don't want to forget. So, okay, I can share the report, I can mail it, and now okay, I will come back to it. Okay, let me think about it. What exactly I need to ask. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you do have access to the NERC courses, and you do also have access to the electrical distribution courses. And those courses are going to be different. So for example, if I come up to the name and I search for 35010 or 35001 and have contains and add filter, then I'm going to have two courses that are going to show up. One is going to be the electrical distribution course, and the other one is going to be the NERC course. The NERC course is going to have MTS 4625 at the beginning, and these courses are going to function differently within the system. So for example, if you have a user that has a socket ID and they want to achieve a CEH for taking NERC training, they have to be assigned this course. If they take this course, they are not going to get that credit. It has to be the course that has MTS 4625. I run a report every Monday morning, and I report the socket hours for the previous week. And if they have not completed this course, then they will not receive credit. And also I want to point out this is a two-part course. With each of the NERC courses, there's the training content, and then at the end of the course, there is an evaluation that is required. So it's a two-part course. In order to receive credit, they have to complete the evaluation. And so are there any questions about that?
Dusty, now I remembered what I meant to ask. Is there on this, right now on the website, I'm looking, is there somewhere like a help if I forget like part of, let's say, how to run the report? Is there something like a help?
Yes, there are help options. I'd rather come to those at the end, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure, no problem, no problem. I just did not want to forget, please.
Oh,
thank you.
No worries.
So the question, Dusty, is as our people take NERC approved courses, you are the one to get that, to either verify that went to SOCED or load those into SOCED?
Yes, I'll pull a report with the training and the completion date and their NERC ID, and I report that directly to NERC.
So as we track it on our side, we just track it through our reports and assume that if somebody took a NERC course, you guys are going to upload it and then we can verify it on our side, or can we push that same data out to our LMS?
I'm not sure I understand. Do you have another LMS that you're using?
Yeah, we use QTD.
Okay.
So
yeah,
what happens sometimes is people take courses, it can be any number of places. It gets uploaded into SOCED, but then our QTD, tracking hours different for that individual than what's on SOCED, and then we got to kind of reconcile. So, it's not the end of the world. We'd rather they have more hours in SOCED. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but just to make sure we're aligned, we end up, particularly Michael ends up going through occasionally and just, reconciling those hours. So is there a way to make that a little less manually intensive?
Well, what you do outside of this LMS is up to you. My responsibility is will be reporting the hours with all the other NERC users that have completed training within Absorb and reporting those to NERC. Now, if We do not have a full system training report at the moment. So what I can do on Mondays, I can send you a full training report from the LMS. It sounds like that might be something that you need if you're going to be putting information into another system. But what you do with that is up to you.
Dusty, this is Victor. How are you?
Hi, Victor. I'm well.
Good morning, everyone. I thought that perhaps what we could do for Steve and colleagues is send him as requested, or perhaps we can decide on this before. Perhaps send them a CSV file of the report so that they can upload it to their system. I looked into it, and a CSV file will be accepted by their system.
Okay.
I don't think we're necessarily looking to create a ton of extra work for you guys or have some special thing.
Yeah.
You know, surely we're not the only folks using Qt to track and reconciling with socket. I mean, those are industry standard type tracking. So I'm trying to understand how that, you know, is it a manual process for most folks? Is there something, some quick reference we can look at in MarTech and just, you know, quickly, oh, okay, hey, you know, Paul Ash did this and he took 5 hours of online courses this past month. It doesn't even have to be, you know, like a weekly thing.
Okay.
Where we can go and reference it and recognize, oh, okay, that's where those numbers show up type.
Right. Well, on this system itself, Absorb, you could see training activity. That's not a problem. I was thinking more towards you having record of the folks that do complete nerd courses, because I know that's important to you as well. So obviously manually doing it wouldn't make sense, but creating a CSV file whenever you need to, and then send that CSV file to you, you can upload it to QTD. I think it would work, unless you kind of want to agree on whenever you want that report, we send it to you.
Okay.
Or it could be done weekly, monthly.
So I'm going to ask Michael, because he's going to do most of that.
Sure.
Michael, is that going to work for us the way we need to?
Yeah, that's no problem. As long as I know who took what and how many hours they get for it, I can just put it into QTD.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
After this call, I can talk to Dusty and then set up a plan and then go from there.
Michael, quick question. So basically, if I understood well, the CSV file from MarTech, we are able to upload it into QTD, correct?
Or download CSVs from QTD. I'll have to check if we upload CSVs into.
Because I always did it vice versa. I created a CSV file from QTD and then upload it into Socket, but never vice versa.
What and how many hours they got, it's easy enough for me to put it into QTD. I'll just create an ILA for the courses that they take and put the credit hours into QTD.
Okay.
Yeah, so we should. I actually consulted a while ago with our e-learning developer, Davey, on a separate project, and he had informed me that yes, we can create a CSV. What we would do before running the actual report itself, perhaps do a test run first to make sure that all the information populates, and then once kind of go from there. Sorry, Dusty, didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. I have a hard stop in 15 minutes. I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to at least give a broad overview of this
Yeah.
information, I think we might have to schedule another training call because I don't think I'm going to be able to
Okay.
get through all of it.
Yeah, and this is ongoing, Steve, Mike, and Dana. It's ongoing, so if at any given time you do need additional training refresher, you can send me an email and I'll schedule that with Dusty. So feel free to do so whenever you need.
And you can also email me directly if you like, and just copy Victor, and I can let you know what's available. So any other questions that we have in regards to reporting?
No, thank you.
Okay, so so I also want to point out that your courses are set for auto or for self-enrollment. So users do have the ability to enroll into both of these. And just to cover a little bit more about what the NERC courses are, there is an 80% passing score, whereas with the regular courses, there's a 70% passing score. And the passing score for the regular courses can be edited. So if you prefer a certain passing score for your individual courses, we can adjust that accordingly. And also with the NERC courses, the navigation is locked down. So the user does have to view every course or every page within that course. Whereas with the regular courses, it's going to, the user will have the flexibility to bounce around to different pages without being locked into a specific sequence. So if you look at the this right, these are going to be your actions with regards to the NERC courses. You do not have the ability to edit those courses, but for example, with the PGE courses, you do have the option to edit the courses. And I'm going to remove this filter so we're looking at all of your courses. But so to enroll users into training, all you have to do is select the courses that you want to enroll the users into, and then click the Enroll Users button. And then you can enter your names for your users which you'd like to enroll. And then click Enroll, and it will enroll those users into that training. And you can also do this from the users page. So for example, we click on the users page, and it will list your users. You can select the users you want to enroll training into and click the Enroll Users button. And now your courses are going to show up. And if you click the Add Courses button, a window will open up where you can select the courses that you want to enroll users into. And
So then that shows up when they log in, it shows up in their assigned courses. Bucket.
right, this would show up as My Courses.
Gotcha.
It's fairly slow today.
Yeah, it's very slow. I'm not sure why.
Because everybody's on the internet.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Because we're all in our jammies drinking coffee on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure coffee production is going to have to go up too.
Us and all the third graders in the world are at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so going back to the user page, you can select your users and then click Enroll Users, Add Courses, and you can search. If I search for PGE, it's going to list all of the PGE courses that are available to enroll users into. And click Continue, and it will list those courses, and I click Enroll, and it will enroll the users in those courses. And
Gotcha.
you can also search for other keywords such as tools, whatever you want to search for, and click continue. Then you click the enroll button and the user will be enrolled into these courses.
Will the user get a notification that they were enrolled?
The user will not receive an email letting them know that individual courses have been assigned. But what I would like to show you is how you can create training. Number one, a curriculum. So I think one thing that's slowing this down is the number of courses that are being displayed. So if I go to add new, I have some course options. I want to show you curriculum. Curriculum will allow you to create a training program. So for example, if I call this PGE Tool Safety category, I'm going to list this under PG&E. And then that's all you have to fill out on this page. If I go to courses, this is going to allow me to create the curriculum. Does everyone knows what a curriculum is, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm going to create one group and call that basic safety, and then create another group and have this tool called tools. And I'm going to add courses to the basic safety. And let's say I want my 101 courses, but if I select 101, then I can go down here and select my 101 courses. And if I click add courses to my tools and just search for the keyword tools, then I can search for, I can add the courses for tools. So I have two groups, and you can add as many courses as you want. You can add as many groups as you want, however you want to organize your curriculum. And you can also set pace progress, which will, within the curriculum, it will pace the progress. So for example, the user would have to complete everything in the first group before they can move on to the second group. And you can also set this to a minimum number of courses. So if we wanted the user to complete 3 courses before they, or in this scenario, the user would complete 3 courses, then they would be able to move on to the second group. I'm going to leave this off and change this back to 4. And availability is going to determine who can self-enroll in this training, and also if anyone is going to automatically be enrolled into this training. So if we click self-enrollment, then this is going to let us define who can self-enroll into this training. So if I set this to department PG&E, everyone in the department will be able to self-enroll into this training. Now, this isn't something that you have to select. So if you do not want users to be able to self-enroll into this training, just uncheck allow self-enrollment. And the one thing, I do want to stress this, one thing you must do is down at the bottom, the department visibility, you want to select this and you want it to be PG&E. Otherwise, every department in the system will be able to view this training. I try to review this every once in a while to make sure all of the courses are set up correctly, but you do want to make sure department visibility is set up for administrators. And if you want to lock down the edit rights for this training, then you can select yourself. And then that means that I am the only editor that can make changes to this curriculum.
Otherwise, it defaults to all the administrators.
That's correct.
Okay.
If we want to associate a due date, we can set a due date. So if we say 6 months from the enrollment, this training is going to be due. This is where we would set that. We can also define if this is a mandatory course. If we don't want users to be able to access this training until, let's say, May 1st, we can select that here. And then completion is going to define how this will function once a user has completed it. So will the user be able to re-enroll into this curriculum? We can say yes or no. All of the training, all the individual courses, they do allow re-enrollment. And then you had a question about emails. So this is where we would set the emails. By default, emails are turned on for training, but for the individual online courses, we have the emails turned off. The reason why is if you created a curriculum with 20 courses in it and you assign that to a user, then they would essentially receive 20 emails. So we like to suppress emails for the individual courses and just have emails for the larger groups of training, such as a curriculum. So with this, the user will receive an enrollment email, and they'll also receive a completion email. And so if you only want the user to receive an enrollment email, then all you have to do is uncheck completion email. And you can also edit what these emails will look like. So if you use custom template, the email dialog box is going to open up and you'll be able to see the text, and you can edit the text within this email. And you also have the option of adding links. So if, for example, I wanted to add something like this is the address for the LMS, then I click here and have LMS link, and that's going to automatically fill a link for the LMS. And this is going to define who is going to receive this email. So this is going to be received by the learner. If I want the administrators to receive a copy, then I would click send to administrator. And keep in mind, if you're going to assign this to 100 users, you're going to receive 100 emails if you have this selected. Resources are going to be any type of attachment you want to attach to the training. So for example, if you have a new employee training and you want to attach the new employee workbook, you could attach it as a PDF. And then you would just browse to that resource. And I'm actually going to cancel that. Messages, I'm going to turn messages off. And I'm going to set the availability to all the administrators within PGE and courses in general. And I'm going to save this so you'll have access to it as a training resource. So are there any questions about the training? I know I've skimmed over this pretty quickly. I just want to make sure I cover the most important parts before we end our call. And I am going to address other training resources before we end, so I'm going to save a couple of minutes for that. But one thing I do want to cover before we go is the user tab. So all of your users are going to be listed on this tab. And just like with any of the other reports, you can edit this report, define which columns are going to be displayed in this report. You can add filters. So for example, if you click any of these filters, it's going to add a filter. To edit users, if you select a user and click Edit User, it's going to take you to the Edit tab where you'll be able to edit that user's information. And one thing I want to point out is on the More tab, it's going to have the SOCED operator ID. So I'm going to cancel out of this and show what it would look like if I added a new user. You do have the ability to add users. I don't have time to go through the user import tool. So if you do want to edit or add users, you can come to me. If you want to add a user individually. Victor, how many users do they have in the system or in the contract?
125.
Okay, so you have the ability to add 15 more users. So if you wanted to add users individually, then you could, of course, select their first name, last name. Username should be their email address. So if I enter email at email.com, it's going to actually, it's going to automatically populate that, or it should automatically populate that to the username. But you can have a different email address and username if you want. But email address is where the user is going to receive system emails. And if you're adding a user individually, you will have to set a password. And if we come over to the messages tab, by default, this is going to send the user a new user email. And again, on the More tab, this is where we would enter their socket ID. Yes.
What about if we remove a user, all the data will be deleted from your system, or something like an archive or inactive, or?
You want to place the user into an inactive status, and all you have to do is go to this page and click this blue button right here. And that will move them into an inactive status.
But the maximum of the active and inactive still has to be only 125, correct?
That's correct. Well,
Okay.
once a user, you'll have to discuss with Victor how many users you can deactivate in a year. I know there's usually a limitation within the contract. But I do want to cover a couple more things on this because I only have a couple more minutes.
Sure.
So sending emails out. Right now, you do not have, emails have not been sent to your users. In addition, no training has been assigned to your users. So you can select your users whenever you're ready to send out the email. And actually, if you come down here and select 250, all your users will be listed, and you can choose, select this page, and it will have all your users selected. And if you click this reset password button, it'll have an email dialog that will pop up, and you can send the new user message, and you can type an email with, this will have information that will allow the user to reset their password. It'll have the link to the LMS. It will have their username. And then you, by default, it has my contact information. So if you click send, then it will send this email to your users. So this is kind of a segue into what help options you have within the system. So I'm available. I'm more than happy to help your users as they contact me. As administrators, you can always contact me, and if I'm available, I can get on a call with you. I will first try to answer your question via email, and if I don't think email is going to be sufficient, then we can get on a call, and be it a Zoom meeting, we can have an online training. I will also email you the admin training document, which will have more detailed information about how to work some of the administrator functions within the learning management system. And there's also this blue circle in the bottom right, and this is the Absorb Assistant. So this is going to have, for example, if I click on onboarding, there's going to be tutorials like how to create a curriculum, how to create a course bundle, how to create a report. And so if I launch this, or if I click take me there, then it's going to walk me through the process for creating a report. And we don't really have time to get into the reports, but you really don't have any data that is available to report on in the system because your users haven't started taking any of the training. But this is a resource that is available. So there are, so this is an added resource. So,
Dusty, I just wanted to
yeah.
mention to the group, if you would like for to make them aware that they have access to the system, we can. If you know more or less what courses you want them to take, or if you want us to indicate on that email that they have open access to the content, we can do that as well for the initial email. So just let us know what works best with you, and we'll work with Dusty to get that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we probably need to chat a little bit about how we want to roll that out.
Sure.
That gives us some options. So we'll kind of talk about it
Yeah.
internal and figure out what's the best way to set that up. I have, you know, we have some multiple kind of distinct groups within our users. And, you know, for some of them, I want to maybe set up some curriculum that I'd like them to work through. And then for others, it's going to be a little more of an open format. At this point, you know, how we envision using this is we do a lot of instruction, obviously, but as a supplemental to a lot of that instruction, either pre-work or post-work. So, you know,